LA Thieves just announced Venom from Westar, the AM team, coming in to replace Temp, who will now be on the bench. Big news, because that means they have a few days of practice time going into week 2 before they have their matches, one of those being against Atlanta FaZe. Now, immediately, Pacman, I want to go to you. The change is in. Thieves have made the roster swap. Temp is out. Venom is in. What do you think about it?
I mean, I felt like Don was playing well, to be honest, but we all knew this was coming. It's not going to be Slasher. It's not going to be Ken. That leaves Tej and Temp, and if this is what the team felt was the best move, then so be it. I find it to be unfortunate for Temp. I hope that his stock's in a good enough spot for him to end up on another roster. We've talked about potentially other spots where he could land even beforehand, before we knew about this, where, you know, he could actually be a really positive impact on another team. He's definitely a player that should be starter in this league. But for 100 Thieves, or for LA Thieves, sorry, this could be the start to what becomes a really strong roster, a really strong, competitive, consistent roster, as long as everyone gets on the same page. And we'll see. The only thing we don't know is what that's going to do to their flex roles between TJ and Ken and Venom. So, I mean, only time will tell. They have a little time to practice and figure it out.
Venom for Temp. I mean, actually, to kind of go off on your last point, I do think that Venom is like an aggressive sub player. So I wouldn't be surprised if him and Tej are the subs. Ken will play that flex role, which is interesting just because they had recently just switched him to the SMG, but you know, this shit happens like that. But more importantly, I've said this for a while. I love Austin, and I actually respect him as a teammate. Not many people do. You either hate Austin or you love him. And Austin, you have to have a certain attitude and personality to team with him. It's as simple as that. If you don't, you will not do well individually, and the team won't do well. And that's not a shot at Austin. That's not a shot at Temp. I just think Temp, he's one of those players that doesn't do well with Austin. You have to have a certain outlook, certain mindset. And I don't think he was necessarily playing horrible. I don't think he was playing great by any means, but I think he's a player that has an unbelievable amount of talent. He just needs to be in a different environment. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be more comfortable. He needs to not be in his own head, which can happen if you team with Austin, right? Because he demands greatness. He demands a certain style of play. So I would be surprised if Temp doesn't get picked up on a team that is struggling. Obviously, there's other factors that go into that with contracts and being bought out or whatnot. But they definitely needed to change. As simple as that. They were not a contender. If for some reason it wasn't working. I don't know if a one-player swap is necessarily what they need, but who knows? It could be. I mean, if you look at our team in Black Ops 4, when we got Priesta, it changed the whole dynamic of our team. So maybe Venom comes in and he's what they need. I'm interested to see because I know he was, you know, considered one of the better challenger players. He has a lot of talent, so it'll be interesting. Sucks for Temp though. Definitely sucks for Temp because he is a good player, and like you said, it's sometimes when these situations happen, it could really affect your stock, you know, and affect his future. And you don't want to see that because it's not like he's done. Like he shouldn't be done. He has a lot left in the tank. He's fucking young. So I don't know. It's a move that they needed to do. They needed to do it. But especially being close with them, it sucks to see Don kind of be the one on the way out. I mean, I would have said the same for any one of them, realistically.
True.
But you know, I hope it benefits both parties. Yeah. I hope LA Thieves gets better, and I also hope Don gets an opportunity to really show how good he is again on another team.
And this is an amazing opportunity.
Sorry. Yeah, Pacman, I think you're about to lead into what I'm about to say, but for someone like Temp, then where do you think he might slot in best? Is there an opportunity for him to shine on any particular team that you can think of?
I mean, the easiest fit as just a team, if we're not talking about anything contract-wise, is probably Paris. Like, that's a simple fit on a team that's actually looking really strong, and you pick up someone who's, like, flat out just a better player. But I don't think that's going to happen because of the contract situation, but I think that's the best fit. And then there's spots like Florida where he could improve their roster there. And then LAG, I guess. But I don't think, then again, I'm not sure Donnie would actually want to go to that team. But
Yeah.
Boy,
but
might
he,
just want to stay on the bench at that point.
I
I
mean,
was kidding. I was kidding.
he's joking, but in a way, it can hurt you a lot to come back and just come and lose on another team. It can really hurt you
Right.
because your stock just plummets going into the next season. So, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see what he can do there.
I think, Katie, he would slot in perfectly in a team that is playing well, right? They seem like they're all on the same page, they're in rhythm, but they might be lacking some of that firepower. Like John said, like a Paris maybe, potentially a Florida, you know, potentially a Minnesota, but it's just so hard nowadays with contracts and everything. Like it's not just like, oh, we want him. He would help the team. Let's go get him, and he's on. But I definitely think that there will be teams interested. It just is all about it actually being executed and getting him on another roster is going to be the tough part.
So let's talk about Venom then to close this out. Venom, keys to success, Ian. Venom coming in, you guys have mentioned Slasher can be a little tough to work with. And what does Venom need to do to prove himself in the league and to have success with Thieves?
It's simple. I think all he has to do is two things. One, I don't know if he has an ego, but if he does, drop that shit at the door. Listen to everything Austin Liddicoat says. That's rule number one. You listen to him because he could be a great player, but he probably doesn't know how to. Well, I know for a fact he doesn't know how to win or have the mind that Austin does, because Austin is one of the smartest players in Call of Duty. It's not a shot at Venom, but he just needs to get on that same page as Austin, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a long road. And two is just he needs to be open-minded, because it's going to be rough in the beginning. It's a whole different game when you're playing in the CDL versus challengers. He's going to need to take some time to adjust, and it might be stressful, especially playing with someone like Slasher. But as long as he doesn't kind of like lose full, I guess, and shut down, because like I said, Austin has that Michael Jordan mentality. That's how he is. If he doesn't let that affect him negatively, I think he has the potential. He has all the tools in the world. He has some of the greatest Call of Duty players in the game that are now his teammates. So he has all the resources around him to be great and be successful in the league. He just needs to drop an ego if he has it, and don't shut down. Take everything, soak in all the knowledge, everything that you're being told, and use that to your advantage.
Fair enough. I think so. Yeah, if he has an ego, we don't know. Go ahead, drop that. But he needs to make sure that he maintains the level of confidence that I'm sure he has playing through challengers, because he's on a team that was dominating through challengers at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Really good player. Everyone says he's like up and coming. So I do believe that he's probably extremely talented. Otherwise, LA Thieves wouldn't have gone out there to pick him up. But keep that confidence when you go up against the Simps and the Bees, like he's going to next week. Keep that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to make plays. And then when Austin tells you things are wrong, fix it and just keep it pushing and keep that confidence level high, because I can't explain how important that is playing at that level. You just need to believe that you are that guy on the map. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be a lot harder.
You can't be in your... Oh, yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off, but what you said is you can't be in your own head.
Yeah.
And start really just overthinking the situation, which it happens a lot. You see it more often than not, honestly. But I'm excited. I don't know anything about him, and I hope
fresh faces are exciting. It's an unknown element.
Yeah, and then
exactly. He could be the next Sim.
He could. It's an unbelievable opportunity for him, because I think that you have to stress it more. Like, he is getting to play with top tier talent. Like, this is top of the line. You can't ask to be put on a better starting team than this. Like, you know what I mean? TJ, Kenny, and Slasher. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous lineup to get to play
and
with.
LA Thieves.
Right.
One of the biggest names in the scene.
It's an incredible opportunity.
It's a great opportunity, so we wish him the best of luck, of course.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, drop the ego at the door, stay confident because you were excellent as an AM, and keep an open mind. Soak up all that information, the tips and tricks from Pacman and Enable to Venom, who is coming in to LA Thieves in replacement of Temp. You will see him coming up in week 2 of stage 2. How does he perform? We'll have to wait and find out. But best of luck to Venom performing with Thieves.